Lakers, and they look like they want to make it 4 in a row.
Allen Iverson hearing it from the crowd. Allen averaging better than 27 a game, third of the NBA behind Tracy McGrady and Kobe Bryant. For more on Allen Iverson, let's check in with Cheryl Miller.
Well, Marv, Allen Iverson has certainly had his fair share of distractions off the court. Just recently, a close friend of his was shot in the leg while coming out of a nightclub that he was at. Well, this is what Allen had to say about all his distractions.
If you look at my career, it's always some type of off-court distraction, dealing with me. So I don't look at it like it's a positive thing, but I turn it into a positive because I'm used to it and I know how to deal with it now.
And Marv, the one thing I know about Allen Iverson, you can talk about the distractions, the injuries, the bumps and bruises, but when it comes to the playoffs, he's focused and he always takes it to a different level.
All right, Cheryl. Allen Iverson led the NBA in minutes played, 43 a game. And as you mentioned, Czar played in all 82 games this season for the very first time.
He said it was somewhat of a challenge to himself. He said, I hear all the time about these players that play the entire season. I had not done it. He said, I just was lucky I didn't have any severe injuries. The worst ones, he said, I just played through because I wanted to try and get it done, play in all 82 games.
The officials, Dick Pavetta, Bob Delaney, and David Jones. They have to wait for the debris to clear following the introductions. This is a 76er team that began the season at 15-4. They lost 20 of their next 30 games. Things looked on the bleak side, but following the All-Star break, they flourished. They won 15 of 17. They went 48 and 34, but they did finish the regular season losing 5 of their last 8 games. The Sixers, the number 4 seed in the East, and the Hornets, the number 5 seed, as they finish at 47 and 35.
This very easily could be the Eastern Conference Finals. If these two teams were not meeting here in the first round in this bracket, it would not surprise me one bit if they both made it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
All right, Iverson being played here at the start by Wesley. Here's Keith Van Horn open for 3. Kept alive by Snow, and he's fouled by Davis.
And there's one of those second chance opportunities again. This time it's Eric Snow going immediately to the glass, coming up with the second chance, and then the first foul, inadvertent foul, but it is a foul on Baron Davis. You hate to see Davis get a quick early foul in the game.
Eric Snow also has had a solid season and has played well in the 3 games against the Hornets. Iverson opens up with the jumper.
Seems, Mark, like all the big scoring stars in the league have taken this first game to show that they can really put numbers up on the board. Tracy McGrady today, Kobe Bryant this afternoon going for big numbers. Paul Pierce going for big numbers for Boston.
And Jamal McGlure gets inside. In fact, that was a concern of Larry Brown with Allen Iverson, well aware that some of his contemporaries are putting up those kind of numbers that he might come out firing. He has been much better at distributing the basketball and getting other people involved. And here is Iverson.
Well, like Larry Brown said, we seem to play our best games when Allen comes out in the first couple of minutes and starts moving the basketball, but I think he'll take those first 2 shots to get him off to a quick start.
Davis being played by Snow. Coleman defending on McGlure, and a foul. It is on Coleman.
You can see Iverson comes out and immediately he starts with an isolation on the right side of the floor. They love to run him across the floor, get that defender trailing. Iverson going left to right that time, hits the first jumper.
Ashburn not able to hit on his first attempt, kept alive by Brown. Baron Davis. And here's David Wesley for 3. And Horn able to get to the rebound. three. Pete Van Horn, after sitting out the 6 games, returned for that 15-minute appearance in the final regular season game this past Wednesday against the Wizards. He is not 100%. Iverson with the steal. Iverson slowed it down, trying to draw the foul. And Allen Iverson with all 6 Philadelphia calls.
Well, you see all the things happening that New Orleans felt they had to avoid. They wanted to run their half-court offense, execute it, take their time, because the Sixers could not get out into the fast break situation. You've seen steals, you've seen turnovers, and you've seen second shots, all by the Sixers.
P.J. Brown. P.J. Brown, one of the more valuable players on the Hornets. 10th season out of Louisiana Tech, and will be a sought-after free agent following this season.
Probably the biggest decision that the Hornets have to make at the end of this year. What to do with P.J. Brown. He's in that $7 million category. Eric Snow with the little floater as he comes inside the foul line. Going back to P.J., he's in the $7 million category. He's a 34-year-old. He's looking at it like it's his last contract. So what do you do? How much you willing to pay the veteran guy? He's a stabilizer in the locker room, a defensive presence.
And a foul against the 76ers.
It's a tough call for them, Marv, because he's a local guy. He's from that area down there in the New Orleans area. He's a good guy. He's a real solid citizen, and he's a real solid basketball player, terrific work ethic. So now what do you do at this point? Do you give that kind of money up to him, at least $7 million, or do you try and get him for less? Will he come for less?
Yes, PJ was just fouled by Kenny Thomas out of Louisiana Tech. Grew up in Winfield, Louisiana. New Orleans has been his off-season residence. Since the All-Star break, the Hornets with the second-best record in the East behind the 76ers. Hornets have gone 21-11 and won their last 5, including wins over Detroit, New Jersey, and these Philadelphia 76ers. Ashburn with the rebound. Foul handles the ball extremely well for a guy 6'8". Nice pass to set it up for McLaurin.
You see the versatility of Mashburn. Gets the rebound, advances the ball the length of the floor, stops the circle, and makes a feed pass to the post on a bounce pass right where it has to be to get a score for his big man.
So the Sixers up 11-7. Van Horn rebounded by Brown, and that pass was thrown off the mark.
You had Baron Davis running away from the basketball as opposed to coming back to meet the basketball. P.J. Brown anticipating that he would stop in the outlet area, secure the ball, and then go. Davis trying to get going too fast.
Iverson, yes. And Allen Iverson has been on fire. He's 4 for 4 from the field. Here's Mashburn. Yes, and the foul. Foul committed by Eric Snow. Jamal Mashburn has had terrific success against the Philadelphia 76ers. He's averaged better than 27 per game in the 3 games, shooting 52% from the field. That includes a 37-point performance against Philly.
You know, of the 3 games this year, New Orleans won 2 out of the 3 games. They won a 1-pointer, they won a 5-pointer, and then they were blown out by 21 points. In that particular evening, Paul Silas said there wasn't very much we could do. It was just one of those nights where everything I tried. He said, I did try a lot of things, but nothing worked.
Van Horn stepped out of bounds. Van Horn tried to maneuver along the baseline, but stepped out.
You see Van Horn being very assertive tonight, being very aggressive, going to the basket along the baseline. He steps on the line.
Sixers up by 3. We're early in the first. And as Mashburn is able to drill it, Dick Pavetta blowing the whistle away from the ball. The basket does not count. Foul on Thomas, called for the push out.
Well, you see the action taking place, very physical in the lane. These are two physical basketball teams. They're frontline guys that are not afraid to put their bodies on people. That's why they are both such good rebounding basketball teams, and that's why they've been able to hold their own against the other team, because they play that way.
Disappointed Kenny Thomas will sit down after picking up a second foul. Aaron McKee has checked in for the first time. Al Mashburn looking to post on McKee. And Horn with the save. And last touch by the 76ers. This is game one of the best of seven. Game two Wednesday night here in Philadelphia will be on hand starting 7 o'clock Eastern time on TNT. Then games 3 and 4 in New Orleans Saturday and Monday. Here's McLaurin. And back comes Iverson off to the hot start. Going right at Wesley. Wesley got a piece of the ball. And last touch by Coleman.
You saw Eric Snowmark standing at the top of the circle that time. Hands ready for the pass. Allen Iverson got caught up in that dribbling routine there. Missed his backcourt partner. By the way, they started all 82 games together this season.
Quick release by Wesley. Sixers want to run. Here comes McKee.
Hey.
Van Horn met by Brown.
T.J. Brown has always been a solid defensive player. He'll be a tough guard on Van Horn, particularly down the low post area.
Wesley. Brown tried to keep it alive, but he tipped it out of bounds. So just under 6 remaining in this first quarter. The 76ers up 13-10, and Larry Brown takes a timeout. Allen Iverson opening up, hitting his first 4 shots. Also has 2 assists. We'll be back in a moment. For Allen Iverson, he's had a hand at all 6 Philadelphia baskets, 4 of 4 from the field, plus the 2 assists.
Starting out crossing the floor left to right, he hits the opening jump shot, then shows he can back up and hit it from the top of the circle. And then his defense, the leader in steals in the NBA, Iverson with the steal, pump fake, and finish against the big man.
And the 76ers leading the league in steals, about 10 per game. They also force 17 turnovers a game, which is second in the league. It's a 13-10 lead for the Sixers. Both teams remain the same following the timeout. Owen Iverson at the guards. Coleman is up front with Van Horn and McKee. Here's Iverson. Rebounded by Brown.
What you saw on the jump shot, David Wesley immediately take off and run out. They have hurt the Sixers with that during the course of the regular season. Iverson's jumper, the defensive player takes off and goes down the court looking for a long outlet pass and easy layup.
And Derek Coleman with a good defensive play, getting the tie-up.
Coleman actually never left his feet. He just waited on the pump fake, kept his arms up. There you see him, nice trap, solid trap. And then the ball goes right into his hands. Good play by both Van Horn and Coleman, double teaming, trapping him on the baseline.
Derek Coleman has been the starting center, with Todd McCulloch sidelined by that nerve disorder.
Obviously, a quick substitution of McKee in the game, guarding Mashburn right now. And that was because Smash hits that most difficult shot, but that's his patented shot, fading away from the baseline. It's because Kenny Thomas picked up 2 quick fouls, and interestingly, Thomas is struggling a little bit trying to make that adjustment to the small forward position. Remember, in college he was a center and then basically a power forward in Houston.
Kenny Thomas undersized, about 6'7", 245 pounds. Iverson on the recovery. Shot clock to 1. Here's Snow. And another rebound for P.J. Brown. Here's Baron Davis. Wesley for three. And back comes Coleman. Iverson for three.
Now, wait a minute. How do you leave that guy open, that wide open? Doesn't anybody realize who he is on the floor?
Both clubs now having difficulty getting shots that drop. Iverson. Yes, and the foul.
Well, that's the answer. The first time he was too wide open. There was nobody within 20 feet of him. This time, when he gets in the lane and he dodges and jukes and jigs and falls back away and his shirt's coming out and his pants are falling off, then he makes the shot.
So Allen Iverson is headed to the line. Foul by David Wesley. And Stacey Augmon getting set to check in. Here he comes. Stacey Augmon has had a degree of success in the past against Iverson.
Stacey Augmon, a favorite of the coaching staff for New Orleans because he is very professional, student of the game, excellent defender, and gives him the flexibility of playing more than just one position on the floor.
Notice that we have extra room here at the table.
It is so spacious, so spacious. It's without what?
Without, well, you cut me off, that's why. Without Jeff Van Gundy, who is teaming up with Dick Stockton. Jeff will be rejoining us in the second round of the playoffs. Augmon twisting his way. And I know you mentioned that you're more comfortable like this with Jeff not here.
Well, I can actually put my research papers down on the table and actually read them by Jeff taking up the extra space.
And an offensive foul. It's on Baron Davis. That's his second.
And going back to the beginning of the game, that's why I said that first foul might be very costly. The one that he didn't mean to commit, it was accidental. But then when you get the second one like this, pushing off, pushing into Iverson, that's where the foul is called on Davis.
Greg Buckner, Brian Skinner have come on for the 76ers.
You see what they're doing right away. They're trying to post Davis to get that next foul on. They didn't get him out of the game on the second foul. Very dangerous to still have him out on the floor.
Nice move by McKee for his first bucket, and the Sixers now lead 18-12. Paul Silas wants to talk it over.
Yeah, he doesn't want to take a chance of leaving Davis out there to pick up perhaps an offensive foul. He needs to get him out of the game with the two fouls.
So you're much more comfortable with the extra room?
Well, you're the one who took a shot at Jeff.
Well, Baron Davis a moment ago picked up his second foul, and he takes a seat on the bench, replaced by Kenny Anderson.
Watch him put his hands into Iverson. This is foul number 2, that little push-off right there. Good job of acting by Iverson. So Philly immediately comes right back at him because they didn't get him out of the game. Watch this. Could have been a foul there. Could have been another foul if you're leaning on him too heavy. And then he swipes right at the end with the hand to try and get a piece of the ball. If he swipes there, if that catches his elbow or arm, that would have been foul number 3. You've got to get the player out immediately. If you decide that that's your philosophy, 2 fouls, he comes out in the first quarter. Some coaches have gone with guys and let them stay in, and the guys have played through it and not committed the third foul.
And it's been a very difficult injury-hit season for Baron Davis, slowed by a sprained right ankle, a sore left knee. Back from arthroscopic knee surgery. Look out. Hornets wanted a foul, not called. Here's Tyrone Hill running the break. It counts. And the foul. A beautiful lead pass by Iverson, who was able to push it ahead to Hill.
One thing Tyrone Hill can do is run the floor. This is a fast, big man. Iverson takes his time, slows up, and feels the presence of Hill. Probably a travel by Hill that time. But Allen Iverson knows they got 2 of those easy points that we said early in the game. They have got to find ways of scoring easy points against the physical New Orleans defense.
Assist number 4 for Iverson. Tyrone Hill in his second stint with the 76ers. He's added an inside presence. Signed as a free agent after he was waived by the Cavaliers.
See, Tyrone Hill started a number of games once he came over here and was reacquired by the 76ers. But that front line of Van Horn, Hill, and Coleman just too slow to match up with a lot of teams. They couldn't get the transition baskets that they needed. Plus, it was a tough guard for small forward spot.
Altman gets the friendly hop that ends an 8-0 run by the 76ers. They now lead at 21-14 as we come up on 2 minutes to go in the first. So Hill is up front, along with Skinner and Buckner. Iverson and McKee now in the backcourt. Iverson to the step back. Rebounded by Altman. And the Hornets going with Kenny Anderson defending on Allen Iverson. There's Mashburn wide open. Iverson was on him, stepped away, and no one picked him up.
Well, what happened is Iverson shot the gap for the steal, anticipating the pass to Mashburn. He missed it. Then he ran back to his man, and nobody pushed on out to stay with Mashburn.
Mashburn hits 3. He now has 8. McKee, yes. 76ers lead at 23-17.
McKee could be the key to this series for the 76ers because they lack perimeter shooting as a whole. He's one guy that can make perimeter shots when he gets it going.
And as Mashburn makes his move, he was fouled, blocked by Buckner. Greg Buckner is a defensive specialist in his 4th season out of Clemson, a one-time member of the Dallas Mavericks, but he's 6'4", and Jamal Mashburn is 6'8".
You see, this is the 3rd player now guarding Mashburn already. Started out Thomas in the beginning of the game. From Thomas, McKee comes in and guards Mashburn, and now Buckner is in guarding Mashburn. And that was one of the things Larry Brown had said to us prior to the game. I'm not quite sure which guy is going to be the right guy to match up with Mashburn and do a decent job. So he's finding out here in the first quarter.
76ers now over the foul limit. Mashburn is an 85% free throw shooter. Now the floor sits down, and tractor trailer has come out, as has the one-time Sixer, George Lynch. So it's Trailer, Mashburn, and Lynch on the front line. Anderson and Altman in the backcourt, and the Sixers lead by 5. And a spectacular start for Allen Iverson. That pass intended for Iverson, deflected out by the Hornets.
A little bit of that Dallas elbow series right there, where they play a 2-man game on one side of the floor and have the other 3 players on the opposite side. With Dallas, you see him play it with Nowitzki and Nash. That time it was Hill and Iverson.
Iverson. Pass, although Hill gave it right back. Beautiful feed, and Hill is able to slam it down. Allen Iverson doing it in every category. 11 points, 6 assists.
He said, I'm coming to this series with a lot of energy. I'm so excited at having a chance of going back deep in the playoffs. Not only am I trying to score, but I want to get my teammates involved, get them good shots as well.
Mashburn working hard to get that shot off. Rebounded by Trailer. Nice move. Tractor Trailer, who has picked up his play in the second half of the season.
There's some concern when New Orleans traded away Campbell. When they gave away Campbell, they gave up a 7-footer that could rebound, block shots, and score. But Paul Silas said they needed Kenny Anderson much more than they needed Campbell, the way Campbell was playing. And that guy there, Trailer, has brought them intensity and energy in place of Campbell.
Iverson, yes! 8 seconds remaining in the first quarter. 7 points. 76er lead. Here's Anderson putting moves on Iverson. Time running out. Trailer. The Sixers with a 27-20 lead after one of the story has been Allen Iverson.
Well, there he is finding the teammate, and he'll make sure that he finishes it, and it's not going to get blocked by dunking it. And then Iverson goes back into his other role, which is putting points on the board with the jump shot.
6 of 9 from the field, 13 points, 6 assists for Iverson. And we're just getting started. Over the years, we're at the First Union Center in Philadelphia. After one quarter, the 76ers with the 7-point lead. And reminders tomorrow, right here on TNT, the Spurs trailing 1-0 off that phenomenal finish by the Phoenix Suns yesterday. Will host the Suns, followed by Game 2 of the Jazz and the Kings. Our coverage starting at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, and then Tuesday night, starting at 7 Eastern Time on TNT, it's the Bucks and the Nets. The New Jersey Nets had their way of a romp over the Milwaukee Bucks yesterday, followed by Game 2 of the Lakers and the Timberwolves.
Harvey mentioned the Phoenix game against San Antonio with a heartbreaking loss. Foul shots, the importance of making your free throws. San Antonio misses 15 free throws. They go 26 for 41 from the line. Then in Indiana, Boston makes 26 out of 28 with Paul Pierce making 21 out of 21 to win the game 103-100. And I say all that because this New Orleans team in the 3 games against 76ers this year missed 20 free throws. 20 free throws missed in 3 games, so it could wind up being a big factor here in this game, as it has been already in game number 1 of the playoffs.
Foul on Stacey Augmon, so the 76ers back to the offense. San Antonio, though, was having free throw difficulties all season long, and it caught up with them yesterday. Foul is called this time on the Sixers to Tom Buckner.
You have your free throw problems, then to compound the situation, 2 Hail Mary 3-pointers by Phoenix. One by Amari Stoudemire coming down, banking it off the glass. And then the last one, Stephon Marbury, who has had a sensational year for Phoenix, on the floater, 3-pointer to win the game.
Now Monty Williams comes on for the first time. We asked Larry Brown about the status of Monty, who's been bothered by a sprained knee. Larry said he doesn't know. He's not sure how long that Monty can go, and he feels he's an important guy. As Iverson off the steal is fouled. Monty could be important because the Sixers like him at times matching up with Jamal Mashburn. Foul is called on Anderson.
Well, it's a key issue for them because, like we said, in the first period alone, 3 different players were matched up against Mashburn. Monty Williams has not only some size, but he has some strength and toughness about him to go against Mashburn. So there's player number 4 that Larry Brown can use against Jamal Mashburn.
Allen Iverson with point number 14. Now Keith Van Horn checks back in, replacing Brian Skinner. So the 76ers with Van Horn, Hill, and Williams up front. Iverson and McKee in the backcourt. Allen Iverson has accounted for all 12 76er field goals. 6 baskets, 6 assists.
I'd say he has his energy built up here, ready for this series to get going.
And from the point of view of the coaching staff, that's a perfect start for Iverson. Not only scoring, but also setting people up. Here's Anderson.
76ers come down, try a little bit of zone action there one time against it. So what does New Orleans do? Skip the ball across the floor, hit that 18-foot jump shot.
Baron Davis is back on the floor playing with the 2 fouls. Iverson guarded by Anderson. Now Wesley switches off. Here's McKee, rejected by Trell. McKee, realizing that the shot clock was down to 1. It was a smart move.
Tremendous recognition that time by McKee, just throwing it right back up there again.
Sixers have a 7-point lead. We're early in the second. Here's Davis penetrating and draws the foul.
More of his knee problem is a result of scar tissue, and there's swelling behind the left knee, and that's why he missed one of their recent games down the stretch of the season. This guy is so tough in penetration because not only can he handle and does he have quickness, but then he has the strength to split defenders and get in there for those off-balance shots. And the one thing he's missing right now is the explosiveness. Paul Silas mentioned to us today, you're not going to see the Baron Davis that goes up and throws the ball down on top of big people. It's a different Baron Davis.
Allen Iverson hearing it from the crowd. He'll get a brief rest. So the 76ers now lead 29-23. Eric Snow has replaced Iverson. Snow and McKee now in the backcourt. Monty Williams posting up. Kept alive by Tyrone Hill, and he was tied up. No jumping up.
Tyrone Hill, excellent offensive rebounder, knew the shot clock was down, so as soon as he came up with the second chance opportunity, he tried to go right back up with it again. You'll see Hill gets it, doesn't know exactly how much time is left, but the jump ball is called.
Tyrone Hill, a member of the 76er team that went to the NBA Finals 2 years ago, and now back with Philadelphia. Once again, they go to Monty Williams on a post-up. And it's picked off by Anderson. Here's Wesley on a 2-on-1. Lifts the one-time Sixer. Able to finish it off. The Hornets within 4.
I would think if you're New Orleans right now, you're not feeling all that bad because as well as Allen Iverson played, as well as the Sixers played early on, here when you look up, you're only down 4 points, and New Orleans hasn't played particularly well.
Tractor trailer able to rip it down. Paul Silas going with a 3-guard alignment. He has Davis, Wesley, and Anderson. And here is Davis for 3. Van Horn came out on Davis, but not far enough.
Yeah, Davis wanted to take Van Horn off the dribble, but the second Philly defender, who was Monty Williams, stood behind him on the low block. In essence, they were double teaming him, even though there was no low block player. Offensive foul is called, so the jumper instead of penetration for Davis.
Foul on Hill. And the ball back to New Orleans. An 8-0 run for the Hornets.
You see Davis back up, create space, and even over the outstretched arm of Van Horn, he still knocks it down.
The New Orleans Hornets with 8 unanswered points. They are now within 1. You see Allen Iverson getting set to check back in. Well, you can log on to the special NBA.com playoffs section throughout the postseason for news, features, and series breakdowns. That's on NBA.com or America Online keyword NBA.com.
I would like to log on.
Feel free. I know they can't get you away from the computer at home.
It's so time consuming. It's only problem.
So you're much more comfortable without Jeff Van Gundy doing it, as you were telling me during the commercial break. That's terrible. There's Tractor Trailer. And this is a guy who looks like a different player. First of all, he has lost some weight, which is a fact.
And he's been given a lot of confidence by Paul Silas in the fact that he can be a contributor and that if he will make the sacrifices necessary, Silas will give him the minutes because there certainly was an opportunity with Elwin Campbell being traded. He's taking advantage of that opportunity.
Nice play by Wesley on the strip and then knocks down the 3. So the Hornets now lead 33-29. And that sequence began when Wesley was able to take it away from Iverson. 13-0 run by the Hornets. Here's Derek Coleman, the one-time Hornet. He draws the foul. Trailer picks up the foul. Derek Coleman spent time with the Charlotte Hornets, and there was certainly tension between Derek and head coach Paul Silas.
It was just a situation where Derek Coleman needed to be out of there. Paul Silas did not want him on the team. For whatever the reasons are, sometimes it doesn't work. A player and a coach, they just have a different view on how things should be run, what their role should be. Whatever the key was for Derek, there was somebody that wanted him very badly, and that was Larry Brown. And Larry Brown knew how he wanted to use him in his particular program. And it works for some players in one program, and it doesn't work in other programs. It doesn't mean one is right or one is wrong. It's a better fit in Philadelphia for Coleman than it was in New Orleans.
And for Derek, it is his second go-around with Philadelphia. He had ankle problems last season. It's been an injury-hit career. Derek is back from these surgeries. He's had a solid year. Here's Mashburn, and he's fouled by McKee.
Derek Coleman has had more than just a solid year. He's probably instrumental in the reason why the Sixers wound up with home court advantage. He was very, very consistent for Larry Brown. He really made a commitment this year. He's in great shape. He is defending like we've never seen him defend before. He is sharing the basketball. This is the most excited guy for Syracuse's program. I talked to Jim Boeheim 2 days ago. He called 15 times, Boeheim said, on the floor after the game to tell him how excited he was. He wanted to come up during the off day just to be with the team. This guy really has a real strong feeling for his former school.
And Boeheim was telling me he would appreciate it if you would stop calling him.
I'm annoying him. Is that it?
And the foul is called as Wesley sends Iverson flying. That's 2 on Wesley.
Well, when you guard Iverson, it takes a lot of work and concentration, and you see the physical play that time. David Wesley, probably one of the strongest guys on his team per pound. Anybody that plays against him will tell you how physical, how strong he is. That's why Paul Silas has no problem playing him against 2 guards.
There's Wesley with the rebound.
Did Jim Boeheim say something bad about it?
Yes. I said you're a very sensitive guy. It was not favorable. Nothing about your basketball knowledge or coaching ability, just personality-wise.
No idea as a person.
Yeah. Prevented with the call of a tie-up. The Hornets with a 34-30 lead, able to take the lead off a 13-0 run. McClure and Coleman, and it's controlled by Van Horn. Iverson with a nice move. Here's Snow. And it's deflected out by Coleman. Philadelphia 0 for 7 from the field in the second quarter. Now Mashburn is back. He's up front with George Lynch and Jamal McClure. P.J. Brown is getting set to check back in. Wesley is fouled. Sixers looking for a clean block, but the foul on Iverson, that's his first. Allen pleading his case with the official Bob Delaney.
We've been able to see already the physical contact that guards take when they penetrate the lane. Obviously, we know Allen Iverson is not afraid to go to the basket. We've seen Baron Davis and David Wesley go to the basket, receive the blows of the big bodies on the inside, and that takes its toll over the course of an 82-game schedule. Here comes Wesley. He sees the seam. Iverson questioned the foul call. That little shove in the back was probably what was called that time by the official.
Well, Iverson's point was that it was a very light touch.
Yeah, but if you,
hard to tell from a replay.
If he loses control of the basketball to try and take a shot attempt, then it does have an effect. And that's, you know, the judgment of the official. It's not easy in that particular case.
Van Horn reversing himself. Here's Snow. And the Sixers maintain possession of 8 on the shot clock.
Forget how big that front line is when you're driving the ball to the basket. You've got McClure and P.J. Brown, both in that 6'11", 7-foot category that you got to get a shot over.
And you see the Hornet domination over the last 4 minutes of play. They lead by 6. We're back in Philadelphia. Marv Albert with the czar, Mike Fratello, Cheryl Miller. There's Allen Iverson, who, as usual, is being played in very physical fashion.
Well, first he's playing defense, and he picks up a foul while he's at the defensive end of the floor. A little shove off right there. On a breakaway, he's pulled down from behind, and then moving without the ball. Fouled once again, that time by David Wesley. So physical play versus Allen Iverson. He takes a beating and keeps coming back for more.
Iverson with the superb first quarter had 15 points, 6 assists. 6.5 remaining in the first half. Hornets up by 6. Shot clock is down to 6. Iverson, yes. That's his first field goal in the second quarter. So the Hornets now lead 36-32. And New Orleans back to the starting backcourt of Davis and Wesley away from the ball. Iverson and Wesley in a collision, and looked like Iverson hurt himself as P.J. Brown is able to hit that jumper. Hornets have hit their last 6 shots. Iverson looking over at the bench saying he's all right. He's shaken up.
Wesley really making him work to catch the basketball.
Iverson, yes. Allen Allen Iverson now 8 for 11. The Sixers are within 4.
I really appreciate David Wesley so you see how thick he really is. I mean, this is really a strong physical person.
McKee off the steal. It's a 3-on-2. Van Horn able to recapture. And they have the new shot clock.
He probably gave the ball up a split second too soon. He could have held it just a second longer. It would have been easier to finish the play off.
McKee. And McKee facing the double team. Brings the Sixers within 2. And McKee has 6 points. Just under 5 minutes remaining in the first half. Game 1 of this best of 7 Eastern Conference quarterfinal series. A.J. Brown getting position. Looked like Derek Coleman got a piece. McLaur is stripped. And McLaur ends up on the floor along with Snow. And the foul is called on Jamal McLaur.
This is an unusual play right here because when McLaur comes up with the ball, you see him pump fake, put it down, then after he goes up, the foul is called right there, landing on top of the player. You don't assume that that's going to be a foul, but it is a foul because the player on the ground had the basketball. If you land on top of him that way, it's a foul.
Hornets over the foul limit. Eric Snow will go to the line. Eric Snow has really picked up his scoring this season. And against New Orleans in the 3 games, averaged 11 points, 7 assists. You see, shot 50% from the field. He's an 86% free throw shooter.
Guy has really worked at developing his game. Areas that he knew he needed to improve in. One which was making open 17, 18-foot shots. He worked and worked and worked at it. Has become a much better player because of all the hard work.
Larry Brown telling us that it's the best season Iverson and Snow have had as a combination, as a backcourt.
Most reason you play all 82 games together. Starts there.
Brown. And last touch by McLaur.
See, it takes a special person like Eric Snow, his mentality to understand what it's like playing alongside of an Allen Iverson, because Iverson basically has a green light because he is such a great scorer. You have to give him that freedom. And sometimes there are shots he takes that you know he could get better shots, and Snow has been able to put up with that. Handles it well.
Beautiful pass by Iverson, but Thomas was blocked. Here's Davis. Offensive foul. The basket will not count, and that's 3 on Baron Davis.
Baron Davis putting his head down, the power and strength of the New Orleans guard, but there's nowhere to go here, and Snow very good at moving his feet, keeping his body in front of the ball handler. Foul number 3 for Davis. He'll go to the bench with 3:57 remaining in the second quarter.
Kenny Anderson will come on once again. So Davis has played 15 minutes. He's attempted just 1 shot. He hit it. 3 assists. Very quiet first half. Iverson setting it up for Coleman. There's Wesley and Snow able to draw the charge.
Sometimes you've got to understand, Mark, who you're playing up against, who the guy is. If you're playing Minnesota and Joe Smith is standing in front of you, you know he's going to take a charge. If it's Philadelphia and Eric Snow is around, you know that he's quick enough and good enough to move his feet, get his body in front of you, and he's willing to sacrifice and take it for an offensive foul.
So the Hornets with 4 turnovers their last 5 possessions. Paul Silas calling for time.
The answer is yes, because Detroit is not a high score. When McGrady goes for those kinds of numbers, that kind of performance, he's good enough to beat them by themselves in the series.
Coming up on 3.5 remaining in this first half, the Hornets and the 76ers tied at 38. Here's Iverson. 8-0 run by the 76ers. Allen Iverson, 21 points plus 6 assists. Let's check it with Cheryl Miller. Cheryl?
Well, more about the last time out, Coach Silas was really encouraging his team to just settle down and execute, stay solid. And as far as their tempo is concerned, we can run, but we have to be smart about it. Back to you guys.
All right, Mashburn not able to hit the three. And the foul is called. P.J. Brown making contact with Allen Iverson. So the foul on Brown, and the Hornets are over the foul limit.
Well, Cheryl mentioned a very important point that Paul Silas just made to his team about settling down. You can see on 2 or 3 of the players' faces frustration. Baron Davis is frustrated. Jamal McGlure is very frustrated right now with some of the calls that have gone against them. They need to understand it's a long game, first game of the series, and Paul Silas did a very good job, if that's the information he's passing on, that he notices it as well. Get your head back in the game and settle back down.
Allen Iverson, a 77% free throw shooter. And now David Wesley sits down, and Paul Silas goes deep into his bench for Courtney Alexander. Allen Iverson has accounted for 15 of the Sixers' 16 field goals. That's because of the 6 assists, along with the 9 field goals for 23 points in all.
Probably has gone to Courtney Alexander, who was not initially in that 9-man rotation because he's looking to get some scoring with Baron Davis out of the game. Alexander, very athletic, can put points on the board.
Eric Coleman able to squeeze that rebound, and hearing the applause. Here's Iverson running the floor, then kicked it back. He had no angle, and he's upset with himself.
New Orleans very upset with the fact that they can't get a whistle when their big men are down in the low post area going up strong. Iverson may have had a shot himself going to the basket that time. Instead, was looking to kick it out. There was no one there.
And that is a kick ball. Lance touched by Monty Williams. There's Tyrone Hill checking back. Hill coming on for Thomas. 76ers now lead 42-38 with 2:28 remaining in this first half. Mashburn is up front now with McGlure and Brown. Alexander and Augment in the backcourt. So we'll see Mashburn handle the ball quite a bit. Here's Augment. Stopped by Hill. And then a foul is called. 76ers are over the foul limit.
And that may have come as a result of all the plays from the inside where New Orleans did not get a call. That contact, that time called by Tyrone Hill, leaving his feet just enough and getting those arms out there to initiate some contact on Stacey Augment.
Are we labeling that as a makeup call?
Did you say we?
We meaning you. I was trying to take you off the hook a little.
Oh, and put me into your category?
Exactly.
No, I don't think I'm going there.
All right, coming up on the Verizon Wireless halftime report, Ernie, Kenny, and Charles. We'll take a look back at the Lakers and the Timberwolves and the Magic and the Pistons. Sixers up 42-40. Snow was tripped up, and he's called for a travel.
Some of the small stuff that Stacey Augment will do for you as a defensive player. He'll get after it. He'll force some turnovers and willing to get on the floor and get after loose ball situations. He's an energy guy. He's a glue type of guy for a basketball team.
Hornets are down by 2. 2 minutes remaining in the half. Alexander over Iverson. Skinner able to come away with it, and again Snow hits the deck, and this time a foul on Augment.
Yeah, Augment got his foot underneath Snow's foot. Snow caught the ball, went down. That's the foul right there on Augment. And Marv, you notice what's happened right now because of the change in lineup by New Orleans. Mashburn winds up out on top. He becomes the point forward, or you can call him point guard if you want. He's handling it. He's making decisions. They're running high pick and rolls for him because both Wesley and Baron Davis and Kenny Anderson are on the bench right now.
Eric Snow at the line. Philadelphia 76ers 48-34 in the regular season, the number 4 seed in the Eastern Conference. Started the season at 15-4, then lost 20 of their next 30, and then turned around. They flourished after the All-Star break. Larry Brown telling us he thought they were bad when they were 15-4. He said they had a favorable schedule at the time. They weren't good. He could not get stops at critical times. but he's satisfied with the way they have played in the second half.
When you look at these teams' records, Philly 48 wins, New Orleans 47 wins. Both of these teams against plus 500 teams, 19 and 25 for New Orleans, 19 and 23 for Philadelphia. They took care of their business against the sub 500 teams, 27 and 10 New Orleans, 28 and 10 for Philly.
Ashburn, played by Williams. He felt he was pushed, and now Iverson is fouled by Alexander.
These are unnecessary fouls. You're committing fouls in the backcourt, putting Philadelphia on the foul line. You do not want to do that. You want to be aggressive, but you want to be smart. You don't want to give any easy points away in these playoff games.
Courtney Alexander acquired from the Washington Wizards the day before the draft for the Hornets' first-round draft pick. He was actually brought in to match up against the numerous top-flight big guards in the Eastern Conference. Well, tomorrow on NBA TV, it's Game 2 of the Celtics and the Pacers. Boston coming away with Game 1 at Conseco Fieldhouse. Coverage starting at 8:30 p.m. And then on Wednesday, it's the Magic and the Pistons in a Game 2 matchup. That'll be NBA television at 8 o'clock Eastern Time.
4 teams thus far that were the lower seeds have wound up winning first-round games. Boston, Phoenix, Orlando, and the Lakers this afternoon.
Now 14-2 run by the 76ers.
You think this new format of 7 games in the first round has given an advantage to the lower seeded team?
No question. I think, and I heard Kenny Smith talking about it last night in the studio, and I agree. I think there's a feeling of less pressure in Game 1 as opposed to a 3 out of 5 series, because they can come in and can feel more comfortable. Foul is called on Williams. Both teams are now over the foul limit, and I think they're playing a little bit more free and easy in Game 1.
Paul Silas said that today. Maybe he was listening to Kenny Smith.
Possibly.
What do you think? He stole one of Kenny's lines?
What I wanted to mention, and the truck has been pointing it out because they've been getting calls and telegrams, I guess, that you are talking too much with Jeff Van Gundy right here. The absence of Jeff, for some reason, has given you this license for nonstop talk. It's like a czar telethon here in the first half. Now you're pouting. That's terrible. Sixers up by 4, just under a minute remaining in this first half, and a foul is called. Foul on McClure. That's his second. Czar, we're kidding. You're soaking.
Why don't you ask Jeff to come in and say something?
He's busy on the West Coast. So Derek Coleman to the free throw line. Derek, as we touched on earlier, emerging as the starting center due to that nerve disorder that has sidelined Todd McCulloch. Actually short circuits the nerves communicating with the brain, which affects the feet and the hands. Very popular guy, and the entire organization rooting for Todd to make it back.
Derek Coleman as a 5-man presents a lot of problems because, number one, in the Eastern Conference, you don't have a lot of dominating centers there. Derek Coleman, who can go behind the three-point line and make three-point shots, also can put it on the dribble, down on the floor rather, and take big centers off the dribble. And he gives you a different kind of look as a center.
Offensive foul. Tractor trailer, you can see, was trying to set up to take the charge, but he was on the move when he's called for the foul.
Well, you've got to watch out, because if you let a guy like Traylor move into a defensive player on the move, and from that particular angle, couldn't tell if he was still or not. Looked like he had his feet down, set to go, but his feet could be set, and he could move his shoulder into the guy.
And so there's another backcourt foul. Alexander with a needless foul, particularly with the Hornets over the limit, so Snow heads to the line.
Paul Silas, the coach, just put his hands up in the air as if to say, come on, Courtney, you're getting a chance in the playoffs. You know, relax a little bit and understand that we're giving him points, unnecessary points. Go back to the open. We said the Sixers had to find ways of picking up extra points, cheap points, whether it was second shot opportunities, transition scores, or free throws. And here we've seen them in the last minute and a half, 2 minutes, giving them all these extra free throw opportunities.
Sixers lead 49-42. And some pressure to steal by Snow. Took it away from Altman. Here's Williams. Rejected. And Lynch with the rebound. Crowd looking for a foul on the Hornets.
Don't know the point guard on the floor right now. So after the made free throw, New Orleans had a tough time getting the ball in bounds because that point guard mentality is not out there. It's Mashburn making those decisions.
Oh, what a move that was by Jamal Mashburn. 14 points from Mashburn.
You like that decision? Let me just take it to the basket and score it. That'll solve that.
76ers up by 5. Altman defending on Iverson. 4-second differential between the game clock and shot clock. Iverson pulls it back. Lynch with the save. Final seconds of the half. Alexander cannot get the shot off.
Altman did a very, very good defensive job that time. He wouldn't let Iverson elevate for the three. And then when Iverson started to dribble, penetrate, and backed off, Altman was there to challenge the shot.
A magnificent first half for Allen Iverson. 25 points, 9 of 13 from the field. 6 assists. Jamal Mashburn leading the Hornets with 14. Sixers by 5. Let's go to Ernie in the studio.
Good scores as well. And you see here a real strong preference of Iverson, either going to the middle or to the right side of the floor. Really only one shot attempt coming from that left side of the basket. So Iverson 9 for 13 from the floor right now for 25 points.
Plus 6 assists. Here's a look at our Jeep game summary. And Jamal Mashburn leading the way for New Orleans, 4 of 10, 14 points.
The big key for New Orleans is the fact that they had 11 turnovers, which led to 16 points for the 76ers. Personal fouls, New Orleans 17 to just 12 for Philadelphia, which enabled Philadelphia to get to the free throw line where they've made 16 out of 18 free throw attempts.
Now the Hornets, an outstanding rebounding team, but the Sixers held them to only 1 offensive rebound in the second quarter. They had 4 in the first half.
These are 2 very good rebounding basketball teams. New Orleans, number 8 in the league in overall rebounds, number 4 in offensive rebounds. So that's a great job by Philly, just giving them 1 offensive rebound.
Iverson and Snow in the backcourt. Coleman, Van Horn, and Thomas up front. And a call against the Sixers. It is on Van Horn, an offensive foul.
We've seen a lot of offensive foul calls tonight, haven't we? Many more than you normally see. And that's because I think that the officials feel that these are 2 physical teams. We had a couple people at halftime say, gee, it's like a football game out there. The officials trying to keep control of this game right away, so they're calling those offensive fouls.
Aaron Davis, very quiet. He's playing with 3 fouls, and the foul is called. It is on McClure. That is 3 on McClure. Let's go to Cheryl Miller.
Thanks a lot, Marvel. Coach Solid says there are 3 things we have to do well in the second half. Number 1 is kill the parade at the free throw line. Number 2, a better job on Allen Iverson. And number 3, better execution in the half-court offense. Coach Brown said, thank God for Allen Iverson. We better get more guys involved in the second half.
All right, thanks, Cheryl. It's been a parade to the line by both teams. 18 free throws by the Sixers, 15 by the Hornets. And as Van Horn reaches for that rebound, a foul is called. That's his second. A lot of whistles. The 76ers have picked up 14 personal fouls, and the Hornets hit for 17. A minute gone by in the third. B.J. Brown, Jamal McClure, Jamal Mashburn on the front line, Baron Davis, David Wesley in the backcourt. A wild shot off glass by Mashburn.
You see New Orleans take some very difficult shots during the first half. And you see another tough one that time by Mashburn. Mashburn at halftime was 4 for 10 from the floor, so now he's 5 for 11 for 16 points.
Coleman getting the step. Nice changeup move by Derrick, who comes up hobbling and looks to race back with McGlore's trying to hang in. 76ers with a 51-46 lead. Mashburn again. What a turnaround for Jamal Mashburn, making it back from a nightmare season. He missed 42 games in the regular season a year ago with a stomach injury, a sprained abdominal muscle, which led to vertigo. And he's come back with his best season in his 10-year NBA career. That's the first bucket for Kenny Thomas.
Paul Silas mentioned that he is on medication, and the medication obviously has worked for him during this most successful season. All 82 games for the first time in his 10-year career.
Mashburn again. Jamal has averaged 21.5 per game, made the All-Star team for the first time back in February. Had a franchise record 50-point performance in a game against Memphis, including the game winner in overtime. Here's Iverson. Yes, able to lean back to find the room. 76ers lead by 5. 27 for Iverson. They clear it out from Mashburn, working on Van Horn, and fires. Last touch by the Hornets.
That's exactly what Larry Brown would hope for in that situation, that Mashburn would raise up and try to shoot it over the top of Van Horn. Van Horn in transition, try to seal Mashburn up on the outside. The lob pass just a little bit too far.
Hornets at one point led by 6. They had a 38-32 lead, and then they outscored New Orleans 17-6 to end the half. There's Iverson feeling the physical play again, and still able to hit and draws the foul.
Mark, see, that basket comes as a result of the quick shot from Baron Davis. Baron Davis came down, launched a three-point attempt that was no good. Then you see Iverson take the contact, the toughness to fight through it, still elevate, concentrate, and finish the play.
Foul committed by Brown. That's his third, 3 apiece on Brown, McGlore, Davis, and Wesley.
You see, that's what Cheryl was talking about when she mentioned what Paul Silas said coming out at halftime. He wants him to stay within the offense longer, execute better. You can get a quick hurry shot at any time.
McGlore set up by Wesley and fouled by Coleman.
But see, there's the difference right there. 1 or 2 extra passes, which leads to a high percentage shot, and now McGlore will go to the free throw line. Penetration, bring the next defender, drop it off, and now you've got your big guy attacking the front of the rim. Coleman not allowing the easy basket, sends him to the foul line.
Jamal McGlore in his 3rd season out of Kentucky, a 72% free throw shooter. He is the first Hornets center in the 15-year history of the franchise to actually start all 82 games.
His productivity has really picked up since the trade of Eldon Campbell. He took over that starting center position on a full-time regular basis, knew that it was his, and he's done a very, very good job. This is a hard-working youngster. He is a restricted free agent at the end of this year, so New Orleans has the right to exercise that option and keep him for 1 more year, but he's their big man of the future.
Iverson with a rainbow, and back comes Mashburn. Sets it up for 3. Here comes Snow. It's a 3-on-2. Van Horn. Thomas with the rebound. And the bucket.
See, that's where Thomas is so comfortable, because he's played in the lane close to the basket throughout his collegiate career and his early years in the NBA with Houston. Coming here, Larry Brown is hoping to move him more to the small forward position, but he's very, very comfortable in the lane around the basket.
Here's Davis for 3. Coleman with the rebound, able to work his way against Brown and McGlore. Coleman directing traffic, able to find Van Horn, who lost the grip on the ball.
Van Horn had a small guard on his back. He's got to go up stronger than that and protect that basketball so Davis can't swipe it away.
Foul is called. It's a block. Charge to Eric Snow.
That's a good call because Snow clearly was not in front of Baron Davis when Davis tried to go baseline. He's sliding with the right leg underneath him. Davis gives him a little fake like he's coming middle, and then the sudden crossover move. You see him move, and that's an easy call for the official.
Hornets have called for time. 5 minutes gone by. In the third, it's day 2 of the NBA playoffs. For observation, and never did make it back in the postseason. The Hornets did beat Orlando 3-1, then lost to New Jersey in 5 in the Eastern Conference semifinal.
Well, you just can't lose a player of his caliber who does so many things for you. Besides being your leading scorer, he also has the ability to go and run the fast break for you, make good decisions, be a point forward type of scorer, and it's just too much of a loss to expect the team to go that much further.
And an offensive foul is called. It is on Wesley, and a technical foul was called. Number 4 on Wesley, discussing that call with the official, Bob Delaney, and David Wesley immediately hit with a technical, so Eric Snow will go to the foul line. The Hornets, a franchise that has never made it past the second round of the playoffs. The 14-year run in Charlotte ended last year in negative fashion, attendance dropping to all-time lows. At one point, Charlotte Hornets led the NBA in home attendance, but there was turmoil, bitterness between the fans and ownership, so here they are in New Orleans. In the first round of the playoffs, trailing the Sixers here in game 1 by 10.
Well, you have to give Bob Bass a little bit of credit, who is here in attendance tonight as Baron Davis launches it, hits it. But Bob Bass has done an excellent job of maintaining good enough players to keep this program afloat. They never dropped off the edge of the table. Remember some of the players that have gone through this program, from Iverson foul going down the lane. Talking about Larry Johnson, Alonzo Mourning, and Glenn Rice, and Vlade Divac. There's been a lot of great players that they've had. But when they moved him on or traded him or through free agency, he has maintained good enough players here to keep him going back. This is the 4th straight year to the playoffs under Paul Silas. He's done a heck of a job for him.
And how about Paul Silas? When you consider what he has dealt with, the death of Bobby Phills, a couple of years of friction with Derek Coleman, 3 huge trades, last year's injuries, and the move from Charlotte to New Orleans.
You tend to forget that Paul Silas became the head coach when Dave Cowens decided he was going to up and walk away from the team halfway during the season. So in 4.5 seasons that he's had the team, he has 208 regular season wins, which is the most in the history of the franchise for a head coach.
Paul Silas named April's NBA Coach of the Month for the Eastern Conference. Hornets winning 6 of 8. They won their last 5 of the regular season. As Augment, who just came on for Wesley, forcing and hits.
Most difficult shot that time for Stacey Augment. Many of Augment's shots come with his back to the basket, where he turns into the defensive player and tries to shoot over the top of, making them difficult shots.
76ers by 7. Back comes Davis. Davis and Augment now in the backcourt. Mashburn, McClure, and Brown up front. Mashburn and Horn with the rebound. Iverson with Snow on the wing. So Davis tried to draw the charging foul. Here's Van Horn. Thomas changed his mind. Coleman for 3. Now Mashburn looking to run, but the 76ers get back.
Yeah, last time down, I know Mashburn was not happy with the shot he wound up taking. They can get better shots than the one he took last time down. Although he is a difficult shot maker, he makes a lot of shots falling away. That's his shot. That's his game.
And the foul against the 76ers. That's 3 on Coleman.
The intent of Davis here the entire time is to draw contact. Once he turns in, he's going in. There he puts his body into the defensive man, protects the ball, initiates the contact, and now goes to the free throw line for 2 attempts.
And there's no question that Baron Davis is well under 100% in terms of his health, slowed by a sprained right ankle, a sore left knee. Missed 32 games in all with knee and back problems. In foul trouble tonight. 8 points for Davis.
The tough thing is, in the previous 3 seasons that Baron was in the NBA, he did not miss a game. 3 straight years of 82 games for the Hornets.
Hornets have moved within 5. Snow. And McLaurin able to pull down that rebound. Try to work the pick and roll with McLaurin. Not the shot that Paul Silas was looking for.
That was his version of the sweeping hook. It just didn't sweep it up.
And Horn for 3. Thomas with the rebound. Iverson setting it up on Ortman. Snow. Yes. Another assist for Allen Iverson.
And there's Snow hitting that jumper that we talked about earlier that he's worked so hard on trying to perfect.
Eric Snow tackles Stacey Augman. That's 3 on Snow. And the 76ers now over the foul limit.
You see Snow get that hand in. Augman goes down, then Snow ties him up, draws the jump ball, and then just kind of lands on top of him with a friendly gesture.
So Stacey Augman at the line. Tomorrow, right here on TNT, it's the Spurs hosting the Suns, followed by Game 2 of the Jazz. And the Kings cover starting 8 o'clock Eastern Time. And then Tuesday night, starting at 7 Eastern Time on TNT, it's the Bucks and the Nets, followed by Game 2 between the Lakers and the Timberwolves. Lakers taking Game 1 in Minneapolis, 117-98. That was earlier today. Here's Snow with a nice move. Kobe Bryant led the Lakers with 39. Shaq had 32. Kevin Garnett with 23 points. Sixers up by 8. Ashburn just fell down. Here's McLaurin. Fouled by Hill.
Well, you bring up a good point, Marv. The floor is wet out there. Now they got some of the young guys out there with the mops sweeping it up, but there's been so much physical contact and guys going down on the floor. But I've seen 2 or 3 players slip already, and you saw Mashburn go down that time, so they're out there wiping it up, trying to clean this all up right now.
Dick Pavetta pointing out the wet spots.
Dick is the best in the league at finding wet spots on the floor. Nobody better than Dick Pavetta doing that. And also one of the premier officials in this league for many, many years. In fact, this is a great crew that we have here today officiating.
Are you trying to make up for our one-time partner?
It must be the seat that I'm in. It just came over me suddenly.
Bob Delaney, Dick Pavetta, David Jones, the officiating crew. How does Dick Pavetta maintain that sometimes? The guy works indoors all the time.
Well, he does a lot of gardening, though. He's really into flowers.
All right, here's Jamal McLaurin. He's a 72% free throw shooter. Averaged a career-high 10 points per game, among the leaders in offensive rebound. And he has brought the Hornets within 6, 3.5. Remaining in the third. Marv Albert with the czar, Mike Fratello, Cheryl Miller with the First Union Center in Philadelphia. Game 1 of the best of 7. Monty Williams with it. He just checked back in. Shot clock to 1. Iverson got it away. And a loose ball foul on Thomas, who came surging over the pack.
It was a good call by Bavetta that time because Thomas had a running start, wound up landing on the back of one of the New Orleans players and knocked it out of bounds while he knocked the player out of bounds as well. Let me just say one thing about that shot by Iverson. Many times you get teammates that complain about how many shots a certain guy takes on a team. But it's interesting that when the clock goes down to 4, 3, 2, or 1, that's the guy they wind up throwing the ball to bail him out of a tough situation. Because there are certain players in the league that have the ability to get a shot off when they have to get one off, and you need those kind of guys to win games, guys who can create shots for themselves and for their teammates.
So I know you had many questions regarding those wet spots on the floor, and Cheryl Miller has the answers. Let's go to Cheryl.
You know, Marv, I do anything for Mike. And Mike, one of the other reasons why the floor is so slippery, last night the Philadelphia Flyers played, and they didn't want to remove the ice underneath. Game 7 is Tuesday night, so that's why there's a little slipping and sliding out there.
Just trying to help Cheryl.
You know, I thought I saw guys kind of skating around the floor here.
Flyers and Leafs in an excellent playoff series. I know you've been following it very closely, Czar.
See, now Cheryl understands how annoying you can be when you just jump in on top of
trying to help.
lines. Yeah.
Just trying to help. Here's Skinner. Just check back in. Monty Williams. Shot clock down to 2. Skinner. 76ers lead is just 4 as we come up on 2.5 remaining in the third. Cheryl, being from California, has not seen much ice.
Oh, gosh. That's really something.
All right, here's Davis with the reverse. Rebounded by McGlure, and he is fouled.
54.
So the Hornets coming on. They trailed by as many as 10 points. Foul on Hill. That's his 4th. Timeout taken. 2:21 remaining in the third. Back in Philadelphia, Czar, we were talking about this just moments ago. Keith Van Horn thought that he was fouled and did not get the call right here, and then had a conversation with the official, Dick Bavetta.
Excuse me.
How did he not hit my hand?
Excuse me. We talk over here, not in the middle of the court. Under control.
If the ball goes up in the air.
The bottom line is I am not sure. I probably missed the call. That's all I can tell you. I'm not into the ball going up and down. I missed the call.
I'm going to tell you what, we're going to come right back to him.
Okay? That's my bad on that.
So I know I speak for the entire staff when I say this. You can learn from that. You can own up to your mistakes.
Dick Bavetta just did a great job of diffusing the anger, the venom that Keith Van Horn had. What he did is he said to him, you know what, Keith, you're right. I missed the call. I made a mistake. Mike Woodson, the assistant coach, jumped in and said, okay, we're coming right back to him again next time, hoping that Bavetta would blow the whistle next time down. There's Mike Woodson. Okay, the smart assistant trying to jump in and help out. But see what Dick Bavetta did. See, something you could learn from. He made an angry person calm once again.
You know, I don't think he missed the call.
I don't think so, but he knows he didn't miss the call.
I thought Van Horn lost the grip.
He did. You've lost your grip a few times.
Sixers up by 4 points. Iverson get off here in the third quarter. Coming up on 2 minutes remaining in the third. Mashburn being played now by Buckner. There's Mashburn spinning his way on Buckner and draws the foul. It's a blocking foul on the Sixers. Foul on Monty Williams.
Try and take a look to see if the defender coming across on the rotation is outside the red line. He's not. Block is called. It's a good call.
Mashburn, an 85% free throw shooter. 21 points for Mashburn. Here is Robert Tractor Trailer coming on for Jamal McGlure. The last 8 points by the Hornets have been at the free throw line. The Hornets are down by just 2. He played by Davis. Iverson being guarded again by Augman. Iverson has missed his last 5 shots, and a defensive 3-second violation is called on New Orleans. So a technical foul awarded. Iverson will shoot the tee. Iverson 9 of 10 at the line. 32 points for Iverson. '76ers with a 67-64 advantage. Shot clock is down to 5. Williams lost it. Here's Davis off the spin. Davis goes all the way. And that looked like vintage Baron Davis.
Baron Davis hurt his knee that time. He came down, see him tweak that knee, and what they're saying to him is that this could be scar tissue that has been healing and that he's feeling the effects of. You see him reaching down, grabbing it.
And as it turned out, that's the best move he's made all night. 1 minute left in this third quarter. Buckner with a rare shot, rebounded by Traylor.
I would say that Silas may have to think about getting Davis out of the game if he's limping this badly. If it's affecting him as much as it seems to be affecting him right now. We've got the quarter ending soon, so I'm sure they'll talk to him at that time.
Barron trying to hang in there. Foul is called on Buckner, the third. Sixers over the foul on it.
The steal takes place by Baron Davis. Now, when he comes down the floor, is it on the spin move where he pulls back there? Or is it after he plants and pushes off for the layup and he comes down right there that he feels the effect and the knee?
Well, David Wesley walking over to the scorer's table. He'll come on for Baron Davis.
Watch on defense right now. He has no movement right there. He is really struggling. You can see him.
Ashburn continues to hit at the line. He's 9 of 11 at the line. It's a 10-1 run by the Hornets. Oh, Allen Iverson from downtown. And the Sixers lead 70-68.
See, what Iverson did is he hurried up and took that shot because the defender cheated towards the screen. Iverson figured we can get a 2-for-1 out of this situation. So he launched the three-pointer right away, which will give them that basket and one more opportunity coming right now.
Offensive foul. Traylor with another offensive foul. That's his third personal. So the ball back to the 76ers.
Again, we said earlier, Mark, how many offensive fouls have we seen in tonight's game?
Larry Brown putting in some of his offensive players. Keith Van Horn has checked in. Eric Snow is back.
A Larry Brown trademark to end the quarter. He likes to sneak in either a smaller guy and try and take advantage of a mismatch. The other coach isn't paying attention. All of a sudden, he'll take advantage of that mismatch.
3-second differential between the game clock and shot clock. Here's Snow with a nice move. The tip was missed. Monty Williams had an opportunity. Final seconds of the third. Lynch stripped. And Snow just fires it down. After 3, the Sixers with a 70-68 lead on the Hornets. Allen Iverson, 35 points, along with 7 assists. Jamal Mashburn leading the way for the Hornets with 24. We'll be back to First Union Center for the fourth quarter in a moment. Cheryl Miller, Hornets with a 3-point edge in the third quarter. So they're down by 2 as this fourth quarter gets underway. It's game 1 of the best of 7. They'll play game 2 here in Philadelphia, followed by 2 games in New Orleans. We'll be back here Wednesday night, 7 o'clock start Eastern time on TNT. Then Saturday night it's on to New Orleans. And this fourth quarter opens up with a whistle. Foul is called on Lynch. New Orleans will be seeing playoff basketball for the first time since the ABA's New Orleans Buccaneers back in 1968-69. Key, Eric Snow, Allen Iverson, and the three-guard set for Larry Brown, and Iverson gets it going. So Allen Iverson now has 37.
Stacey Augmon went over the top. We see Philly try and trap the ball after the made basket. They catch New Orleans by surprise and force Mashburn to use up one of their timeouts.
In fact, the Hornets are forced to use a full timeout. Sixers lead by 4.
Sixers leading 72-68 with 11:35 remaining in the fourth quarter. Jamal Mashburn with the ball in the backcourt starts to come up the floor. And as he comes up, let's stop right there for a second. Keith Van Horn notices that his man is way back here. So as Mashburn continues to dribble, he's going to take a shot and run over to double team it from the blind side behind him. Watch Mashburn's feet. Does he pick up the pivot foot? Pivot's left, right, change, and again, Larry Brown wanted the travel call. He was right. Instead, New Orleans got the timeout.
And Czar, in that final minute of play in the third quarter, we saw Baron Davis come up hobbling for more on Baron's condition. Let's go to Cheryl.
And Marvin initially came over to the bench and he was pointing to the outside of his knee. They quickly started icing it down. That's when Davis called over to his physical therapist, D'Artagnan Stamps, to really start working on it, massaging it to loosen it up. And that's the main concern, is that that left knee may tighten up in the fourth.
All right, thanks, Cheryl. Baron Davis has had his problems. The basket will count and a foul. He's been out with a sprained right ankle, a sore left knee. He's missed a total of 32 games because of the knee, ankle, back problems in a rough season for Baron. Coleman on the foul is fourth. It's a three-point play, and the Hornets are within 1.
Credit David Wesley for making a great bailout pass. He had jumped in the air anticipating one thing, had nowhere to go, was going to come down for a travel, and at the last second dropped it off.
Bad pass from Van Horn. And you see Baron Davis giving it a go, despite the fact that he is affected. You can see the gait of Davis. He is hobbling to try to hang in. Davis and Wesley in the backcourt. Nice pass from Wesley, and Lynch is fouled.
It's about the third pass that New Orleans has had an opportunity to catch and finish. That one, Lynch almost lost control of it, grabbed it just enough to force the defender to foul him rather than give up the layup.
That's 4 on Snow, so the Sixers with 4 apiece on Thomas, Coleman, Snow, and Hill. George Lynch, one-time Philadelphia 76er, only a 55% free throw shooter. Travel kept it alive, and last touch by the Sixers.
Omar, New Orleans has missed 10 free throw attempts in this game. They're 24 for 34. In the 3 games against Philadelphia for the regular season, they missed 20 free throw attempts. This could cost them a basketball game.
Wesley trying to set it up for Lynch. That time made the extra pass.
That was a nice pass. It was right there. Lynch should have had his hands ready to catch the ball and go up.
76ers 72, the Hornets 71. Iverson being played now by Augmon. Iverson, yes. 39 points for Allen Iverson.
Augmon keeps going over the top of screens, and Iverson keeps fading to the baseline for the open jump shot. This might be a good time to lock behind him and trail him and force him to curl off that screen.
And the offensive foul is called on the Hornets. It is on Wesley. It's 5 on Wesley.
Watch it. Augmon goes over the top of Coleman. Iverson fades. Too late for Davis to switch out.
Jamal Mashburn has just checked back in. David Wesley will sit down following a discussion with Dick Pavetta. Here's Iverson. It's picked off by Davis. You can see cannot move. Leading Lynch. But what a look by Baron Davis.
Well, Davis realizes that he can only do certain things to help this team right now. One of them is not be real creative in dribble penetration, but he certainly can advance the ball with a pitch-ahead pass by keeping his head up.
Sixers lead by 1. Van Horn stripped. Look out, Altman is fouled.
See, what you have on the floor right now for New Orleans, as you look at their team, you have toughness out on the floor. Lynch, strong, physical, and tough. Traylor, strong, physical, and tough. And Augment, that defensive mindset, that toughness that he has. So Paul Silas has gone for some toughness to get some rebounds, get some stops.
Foul was called on Coleman. That's 5 on Derek Coleman. He'll sit down, replaced by Tyrone Hill. Ball back to New Orleans. 9:37 remaining in the fourth quarter. Allen Iverson is the only 76er to score the last 6.5 minutes.
I think what we just saw Paul Silas do when he went down the bench there, I think he was trying to calm down David Wesley. Basically, Dick Pavetta spoke through Paul Silas, saying that he's heard enough talk. He doesn't want to hear anything else come out of David Wesley's mouth. Technical now could be critical in the game, so he kind of spoke to the head coach saying, let your guy know I've heard enough, and that's what Paul Silas did.
Ashburn forcing with the shot clock running down. Here comes Iverson.
I would say the only problem for New Orleans right now with Baron Davis struggling the way he is and Wesley on the bench, where are they going to get points besides Mashburn?
Van Horn going at Lynch. Comes back to Van Horn. And he's tied up by Lynch. And Keith Van Horn is hearing the boos from the crowd. He's only 1 of 8 from the field.
Well, Lynch is very strong, very physical, and Van Horn is going to have a tough time backing him down, and you see Lynch really asserting himself physically against Keith Van Horn.
Keith Van Horn is playing hurt with a foot injury. He did miss 6 games. Played 15 minutes in the last regular season game against Washington.
So if you know that Van Horn is not going to be able to overpower the guy, then maybe you go to Van Horn's other strength, which is the perimeter game. Put him out, maybe play high pick and roll with him, let him step back again, take advantage of his ability to make jump shots from the outside.
Philadelphia with a 1-point lead. Iverson with a catch and shoot. Make it 41 points. For Allen Iverson, who has scored 40-plus 8 times in postseason play prior to tonight. And Philadelphia has won 7 of those 8 games. Foul is called as McKee got Mashburn from behind. So that is quickly team foul number 4 on the Sixers.
I think it becomes very evident when you look at the free throw opportunities that 34 attempts for New Orleans, 23 attempts for the 76ers, and that's the ability of New Orleans to pound the ball down inside to 3 or 4 different players and force Philadelphia to make some decisions on the inside how they want to play people.
Once again, Mashburn working on McKee. What a shot by Jamal Mashburn.
That's one of those shots that, as I said early in the game, he is a guy that when he starts feeling it, gets on a roll, he makes very, very difficult shots. Kind of like Tracy McGrady does.
McKee over the front. So the Sixers now lead 78-75. And Philadelphia would love to get some scoring from other players because it has been strictly Allen Iverson. Iverson with a steal, and he is fouled.
Lazy pass that time by Baron Davis. He picked up his dribble, tried to float the entry pass, and Iverson, very aggressive, great anticipation. You see the lob half slips out of his hand. Davis probably was trying to pull that back because perhaps he felt Thomas was intercepting it. Allen Iverson concentrating on the ball. You see his eyes right on it, and then the great ability to leap, get a piece of it, and come up with it.
Davis with the foul. That's his 4th. A timeout taken. We'll be back in a moment.
You say Shaq married someone, so therefore they would have the same initials? Then they
the
could
towels.
use the same bath towels?
That's good.
Any jewelry that has initials on it? Yes. They could just share. Stuff like that.
Very pragmatic. 76ers lead it, 78-75. Iverson putting moves on Davis. Iverson had nowhere to go. Hill saved it. Shot clock down to 3. Here's Snow. Rebounded by Altman.
There were about 4 bailout passes on that one series from the 76ers. The fact that they got a shot off was incredible.
Tyrone Hill off the turnover. Snow hits the deck again. That's the 3rd time he's been tripped up. And it's on Baron Davis. 5 on Davis.
Let's see if it is Baron Davis that was at fault as the cross is over.
That's the 3rd time he tripped him in a game.
Well, he may have started to lose his footing as he was going down on the crossover anyhow. Baron Davis can't believe that he's called for the foul.
Are you walking, Stacey Orban?
And Barron ushered aside. Hornets do not want to pick up a technical foul. Now David Wesley, who was upset about a call earlier and has 5 fouls, has checked back in. 5 apiece on Wesley and Davis. Iverson. Yes. Stacey Altman not able to get outside to contest Allen Iverson. 43 for the steal of the bucket. The Sixers lead by 7. So 76ers turning on the pressure. McKee with the able to deflect but recovered by Mashburn. And you hear the chant of defense from this sellout crowd in Philadelphia. Whistle before that shot. Shot does not count. Foul on Snow, and that's 5 on Snow.
Well, the pressure of the Philadelphia 76ers forcing enough turnovers to get them some easy baskets, and you see a lackadaisical pass, a very alert McKee steals it, and then the Sixers go right back and pick up the pressure again, and McKee almost forced another turnover when he flicked from behind on Mashburn.
76ers over the foul limit. Stacey Altman at the line. Now Snow will sit down. Buckner is back. Philadelphia up by 6. Coming up on 6 minutes. Remaining on the 4th. Game 1 of the best of 7. Game 2 here Wednesday night. And we'll have it for you on TNT starting 7 o'clock Eastern time. And then the scene will shift to the Big Easy. Nice play. Beautifully done. Make it 45 points for Iverson.
That's just offensive execution. Nice cut that time by Allen Iverson. A slice cut going from right to left. The late pass. Nobody there to help for New Orleans on defense.
Mashburn being played tightly by Hill. Here's Lynch from downtown. George Lynch hits a 3.
Huge basket that time for New Orleans by George Lynch to get them right back in the game. So suddenly, from a 7-point deficit, they're right back at 4.
Iverson giving away about 8 inches on Stacey Altman. And again, Iverson sets himself up for the shot with a spin. Oh, what a play by Buckner, but Hill could not get to it. And the ball back to New Orleans. Now Baron Davis makes his return. Derek Coleman checks in. Coleman playing with 5. So Wesley will sit down. 5 fouls apiece on Davis and Wesley. 5 on Coleman, 5 on Snow. Thomas with 4.
Almost that free arm push off. Iverson doing a pretty good action job. Remember, Davis is much bigger, much stronger, weighs more than Allen Iverson does.
Here's Altman. Brown with the tip. Nice play by P.J. Brown.
So 2 big plays by 2 guys that you wouldn't expect that particular time. Lynch with the 3-pointer. P.J. Brown tipping in the opportunity to bring this game back to 2 points.
Iverson with a head fake. Can't find the shot. Here's McKee getting the step. 76ers 86. The Hornets 82.
That's too easy. We've seen Iverson lay it up on a reverse layup, and that time we see McKee go down the lane and lay it up. Somebody's got to protect the front of the basket for New Orleans. You've got P.J. Brown in there. You've got Altman around the basket.
A battle between Brown and Hill. Lynch. George Lynch, who hit a three a moment ago, able to hit that baseline jumper. Lynch off the bench for 9. And the Hornets within 2 points once again. We're just under 4 remaining in the fourth as Iverson is tripped by Altman. So that's 4 on Altman and the 4th team foul on New Orleans. Now Keith Van Horn comes out along with Eric Snow, Derek Coleman, replacing Greg Buckner, Kenny Thomas, Tyrone Hill.
You know, Marv, when you look at the starting backcourts, Snow and Iverson versus Davis and Wesley. Snow and Iverson averaged 39.5. Davis Wesley 33. Assists 12 for Snow and Iverson, 8 for Wesley. But when you look at the personal fouls, Iverson with 3 from downtown. 3 of the 4 starting guards all have 5 fouls right now in this game. The only one that's not close is Allen Iverson. He only has 1 personal foul, but he does have a bunch of points.
48 points for Iverson. Shot clock to 5. Mashburn. And McKee able to get to the rebound. Allen Iverson's career high in postseason play. 54 against Toronto, May of 2001. Iverson, what a move! Yes! Another 3 for Iverson! 51 points for Iverson, and the Sixers lead 92-84.
A little bit of a push-off, then the step back, and here's the next three-pointer, which now makes him the leader in scoring in first-round games of the playoffs.
One of the playoffs.
Well, Allen Iverson just moved to the top of that list with 51 points. Dirk Nowitzki had 46 points. Luke Grady with 43 this afternoon. Pierce going 21 for 21 from the foul line, goes to 40. And Kobe Bryant probably backed off a little bit and only getting 39 this afternoon.
Allen Iverson with 20 of the Sixers' last 26 points. He's hit the 50-point mark in postseason for the 3rd time in his career. His playoff high is 54. His career high, 58. 2 minutes, 40 seconds remaining in the fourth. Mashburn tried the 3, and Van Horn able to scoop it up. That's 10 rebounds. But Van Horn has done a nice job off the boards, although he has not shot well. Sixers in possession. They lead by 8. Iverson trying to lose Altman, and he's called for the offensive foul.
And that's Allen Iverson moving without the basketball because Altman has tried to be a glove on him and deny him the ball. Iverson tries to back cut. One's over the top of Stacey Augmon.
Only the 2nd foul on Iverson. Iverson with 16 points here in the 4th quarter. He's hit 7 of his 8 shots. A remarkable performance by Iverson. And the foul against the Sixers. Both teams are over the foul limit. That's 3 on McKee. And Augmon heads back to the line. Larry Brown was telling us prior to the game, his one concern regarding Iverson coming into tonight was the fact that all those guys we saw on that high-scoring list would be in Allen Iverson's head, and he would come out firing away. Well, he did, but he was hitting his shots, and he was also looking to set teammates up. As a result, he has 8 assists.
Well, I think the good thing is that Larry Brown has really tried to space out his minutes tonight, don't you, Mark?
Iverson has played, what, 45 minutes?
45 out of the 46 minutes in the game thus far. Larry Brown knows when he's got it going, you got to leave him on the floor.
Well, have a couple days of rest before.
Well, he's the leader in minutes in the NBA, so this is nothing new. You got to play your best guys, and they play the most minutes.
Iverson does average 43 minutes. Iverson thought he was fouled. Hobbling Baron Davis, hanging in. Paul Silas staying with Davis. Here's Brown. P.J. Brown. 9 points for Brown, and the Hornets cut it to 4 with a minute and 40 remaining on the fourth. Iverson wide open coming off the screen. Yes. 53 points for Iverson. The Sixers 94. And the Hornets 88.
Well, you know what's incredible is that New Orleans is hanging around this game with Iverson having this kind of a game. 53-point contest.
And Davis way off on that three-point attempt. Last touch, though, by the 76ers.
It looked like P.J. Brown may have saved it and knocked it off the Sixer player who was out of bounds already. Therefore, the ball is off of the Sixer player. You see P.J., ball goes off of the back of Snow.
Now the Hornets take a timeout with a minute 19 remaining in the fourth quarter. And the Hornets are down to 1 timeout remaining. They have a 20-second left. The 76ers in good shape. They have 2 and a 20. Away from his postseason high. His regular season high had a 58-point game against the Houston Rockets in January of last season.
Wasn't that the game where Vince Carter was criticized by some people for attending his graduation and making it back to the game? And then he had the last shot from the left-hand corner to try and win that game for Toronto. That was a great series.
All right, 9 on the shot clock. A minute 19 remaining. In the fourth, 76ers lead by 6. Coleman knocked it away, and last touch by Brown. A terrific play by Derek Coleman.
Yeah, because he didn't concede the inbounds pass. Derek Coleman went after it, he challenged it, he pressured it, and he forced a turnover. And that's a backbreaker right there. You come out of a timeout, you got to place it up to try and get a score, and then you turn the ball over without getting a shot at the basket.
Now the Sixers do not have to be in any hurry here. Using clock, got a 10 on the shot clock. Down to 5. Here's Snow. He's rejected. Mashburn putting the move on McKee. Will it count? It would have. The foul on McKee.
A nice move that time by Mashburn. He knew he had the defender backpedaling. A great defensive play. P.J. Brown had switched out onto Iverson. Once Iverson gave the ball up, P.J. would not let him have it back. It forced Snow to try and create a shot. Davis hung in there, deflected it, blocked the shot. Possession New Orleans, and then Mashburn took it to the basket.
Mashburn now 10 for 12 at the line.
Here's the defensive play. Clock running down. Davis, you see, goes up. Beautiful block that time. Now New Orleans secures the ball. Altman starts out the fast break.
Sixers 94 and the Hornets 90. And again, the Sixers do not have to be in any hurry to take the shot. Both teams are over the foul limit. Down to 40 seconds. Iverson with the step. There's Iverson. Yes! And that's a playoff career high. 55 points for Iverson. Sixers lead 96-90 with a half minute remaining in the fourth. Mashburn lost it.